Tonight at the Butler County Fair in Allison, there'll be some great entertainment, including our buddy, Katie Armiger. Katie, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. It's great to talk to you again. And, of course, we've, talked to you every year when we go down to CRS. But now we're going to have you in our area, and it's going to be a fantastic show. Looking forward to that. Why don't we kind of go back? We're going to play some of your music in the next hour here. Let's go back to the hit that kind of got you where everything started, and that's 17 in Abilene. And if looking back at some of the stuff, you basically started at a contest. That's how you got the contract. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. I did a contest when I was 14 called the Best Country Singer in Houston contest. And I won some money and a few demos. And so I went to Nashville with my manager just to kind of do a demo CD to pitch to labels. And, the demo CD turned into a full-fledged album, and then I was like, well, let's just try to give this a go. And then, that's how the label kind of started.
And how did 17 in Abilene come to you?
I wrote it with one of my best friends, Ashley Hewitt, and I was 15 at the time that we wrote it, and she was 19. So we averaged our ages together and split it down the middle. And I grew up in Texas, and so we wanted to use a place in Texas for the first single. And it also happens to rhyme with 17.
And one thing that's really neat about this record was the highest debut for a solo independent artist on the Music Row charts, and that must have been something for your first single out.
Yes, it was crazy. It was one of those things that when that happened, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. That's awesome.
Well, let's play it. Here's 17 in Abilene and Katie Armiger. This morning on KLMJ, we're visiting with Katie Armiger. She will be at the Butler County Fair in Allison tonight on the grandstand. And Katie, we're up to a song here that was very good for you. It was called Trail of Lies, and we even have a little plaque yet in our studio here that helps you get there. And why don't you talk about the song? What a great song you had out.
Aw, well, thank you so much. It was one of those things that, like I said, I love songwriting, and that was probably one of the most, fun for me to write.
Well, here we go. Here's Katie Armiger and Trail of Lies. Here on KLMJ this morning, we're visiting with Katie Armiger. She'll be at the Butler County Fair in Allison tonight. And why don't we talk about a song that was a really cool song that you had out, and it's called Kiss Me Now. Now, how'd you get that song?
I wrote that one with Blair Daly and Sarah Buxton, and I think everybody has a friend that they want to be more than friends with. And sometimes it's really hard to tell them. And so you just have to basically kiss them and be like, well, I hope this works out.
And it was a really good song for you, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was a great song. So, when we released that was actually the highest charting single that we had released up to that date.
Well, let's hear it again. Kiss Me Now and Katie Armiger. This morning on KLMJ, we're visiting with Katie Armiger. She'll be at the Butler County Fair in Allison tonight. And one song that you had out that was really a special song we wanted to talk about, and that's Leaving Home. Why don't you talk about first how that all started and really kind of grew up into more of a graduation song, too?
It did. I moved from Texas about 2 years ago to be here in Nashville. And I wrote that song for my parents about leaving. And we put it up on YouTube. And, I really didn't think anything of it, but I started getting all of these messages from people in high school saying that they were using it as a graduation song, or they were singing it with their choir for their graduation. And, it was one of those things that it came as a total shock to me, but I was really honored. And so we visited a lot of the high schools across America that sang them. And I know that last year, over 50 high schools told us that they were using it. So it was crazy, and like I said, such an honor.
Well, here's Leaving Home and Katie Armiger. This morning on KLMJ, we're visiting with Katie Armiger, and Katie will be at the Butler County Fair in Allison tonight. And Katie, just like any country artist can say, fans are really important, and they are definitely important in your career as well, aren't they?
They're so important. Like you were saying, you can't have a career without fans. We could sing and we could perform, but without people, buying our music and coming out to the shows, we wouldn't be anywhere. So the fans definitely are, the biggest part, I think, of any music.
And you made that very special for the fans by having them name actually your last CD. And why don't you talk about how that all came about?
Well, I was having dinner with my manager and a friend that worked at GAC, and I was just, telling them that I was really indecisive and I couldn't pick the album title. I'd limited it down to 3 titles, but other than that, I'm like, I just can't choose. I don't know what to do. And so my friend from GAC was like, well, you know what? You should just put it up on GAC, and we can have your fans vote, and that would be really cool. It'd be fun, and then you wouldn't have to decide. It would take a little bit of the pressure off of you. And so that's what we did, and the fans chose Confessions of a Nice Girl.
And it was really neat. A lot of the pictures you had on the CD cover, too, and I know we talked about this before, but the laundromat scene and a few others.
Yes, there's definitely some fun, interesting scenes in the album artwork, but we wanted to make it different. And
it was different, wasn't it, Katie?
It definitely was. It was something that I would bet any of you have never seen before.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go to a song here that is really a great song for you called The Best Song Ever. And that's a really great song. How did that all come about, that one?
I was on a road trip with 2 good friends of mine, and we were listening to all these songs on the radio, and they all had the same theme of being horribly tragic, but at the end, there was this fairy tale-esque happy ending, and it was strange, and we were all like, this is not what happens in real life. Things do not work out that way. Sorry. And so we decided to write The Best Song Ever as basically just a parody to all of those songs.
And I know when we got the CD in the mail here, it was kind of interesting because it was for the best song ever, but it was almost like you were receiving an award, like all the award shows.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We wanted to make it really fun and memorable.
So is that your idea, too, or is that somebody else's idea?
That was actually a radio rep's idea. And when we sent them out, it actually coincided with the CMA Awards. And it was so funny because we didn't even plan that, but we sent out the single during that. And so I think people thought that I was winning an award. I'm like, nope, not this year.
And another thing with that, a little bit with that background with the best song ever, it hit 42 on the Billboard charts. So got to 22 on Music Road charts, and I also had a video that was voted by fans. Is that right?
Yes, it did. The video was #1 for a few weeks.
Well, let's listen to the best song ever and Katie Armiger. This morning on KLMJ, we have Katie Armiger. She'll be at the Butler County Fair in Allison tonight. And Katie, let's talk about the performance tonight. What can people expect when they come and see it?
You should definitely expect a really fun show. I'm going to be doing a lot of fun covers, a lot of fun original songs, and there's a little bit of everything. There will be some traditional country, some more modern country. I think overall you're just going to really, really enjoy it and hopefully get out of your seats and have fun.
Well, that's what we like to hear. Now, Katie, one thing I see here, you were voted the #1 hottest bachelorette in country music by Country Weekly readers. How did that all come about?
I guess all the fans voted online for it. I was so shocked. It's an honor, and it was also one of those things that I didn't really believe it because, of course, I'm at home in my sweatpants with no makeup on, and I'm like, wow, I totally don't feel like the hottest bachelorette right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go to the song that you just released called I Do, But Do I? Why don't you talk about that?
Well, my good friend Ren Boyer wrote this song. I actually didn't. And the first time I heard it, I really liked it. And it was really, really catchy. And, I didn't think anything of it. I just listened to the song and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And 3 days later, I called my manager because I was still singing the song. I'd only listened to it once, but, I basically memorized the chorus in that 3 minutes. I'm like, we have to record this song. We have to release it. If this is stuck in my head like this, then this has got to be a good sign.
Now, are you working on a new CD along with this song?
We're not right now. We're actually going to be re-releasing the album with I Do But Do I on there and a few other songs.
Fantastic. Hey, let's listen to that new one called I Do But Do I and Katie Armiger.